Okay, welcome back everybody to the Heroes of Hommlet. I know it's been a couple of weeks, been a little bit busy, but I have been doing some work on this project in between. Most notably, I ended up getting together essentially all the narrative for the audio drama, and I did a test recording, mostly to figure out exactly how much of this actual play schmag that we're doing here, would be needed to make up, about a 30-minute actual play. And so it was pretty interesting. I did a sample recording, and it actually looks to me like we'll get a little bit past sort of that first night's encounter where we drove off an assassin, killed a couple of bandits. We found our recently slain canoness Yade, all of those things, and we kind of had a couple of role-playing encounters, made it to the morning. That was about, that got me out to about 25 minutes. So that's some good news. The bad news is I recorded it and it sounded like shit. So I'm gonna really try to get my voice acting talents another go and try to re-record it. And while I will not be doing like dice rolls in that audio drama, I'm going to try to do it more like an audio book. I did want to have at least a little bit of go-along music. I'm not going to like litter it with sound effects and fucking Batman splat bang type stuff, but I did want to have at least a little bit of background noise and music. So so that's that. And so where we left off, we had just gotten ourselves our fifth player character, who was a half-orc fighter, who you may recall from our session 0 that we generated. He was a traveling missionary for the Church of Cord, and as our party had defeated 4 brigands as well as a relatively tough fighter, they found themselves slightly injured on the side of the road just outside of Hommlet. We have our intrepid halfling at 2 hit points, Garl, our dwarven fighter thief, at 7 hit points, Finn, our ranger, at 12 hit points out of 16. I suppose I should come up with a standard way of doing this. Yeah. So the party status is as follows. The party status is as follows. Finn, 12 out of 16 hit points. Garl, 7 out of 10 hit points. Balding Pot, 2 out of 6 hit points. Harold Tippets, 9 out of 9 hit points. Bor Thorensen, 10 out of 10 hit points. And we determined that Bor, as well as his friend and fellow missionary, whose name was Satch Magman, who is now deceased, were the last 2 of their missionary party who had been making their way across the Flanays from Geoff, spreading the good word of Cord. And they had actually stopped in around Verbobank, and Finn had seen these missionaries pass through, and now seeing really the last 2 left here, having been ambushed by brigands emblazoned with the same eye and flame that they found on the dagger of the assassin of Canoness Yade. So the storyline kind of sets out like a little bit of a few pieces now are starting to come together, and so they start to get the story here from Bor. As they pack up and finish repairing the remainder of his wagon, which the brigands had stolen. 2 good horses who were pulling the missionary's wagon, and then he asks that they help him with the body of his friend Satch Magman, and he asks them to help bury him and give him his last rites, and he's obviously upset. And he regales the other 4 party members with the story of how they were ambushed. And he says, we were just passing through the Cron Hills when we were ambushed by a pack of brigands, crossbowmen. There was about 24 of them, all emblazoned with this eye and this flaming eye. Many of my missionaries were killed, but many more were also taken captive alive. We started out with a party of 9 missionaries. And I believe that there are another 2 still alive. Two remain alive. We must find them before they meet a fate the same as my friend Satch here. I do think that these brigands were going to sell us off to the west into slavery, perhaps in the lands of Ayuz or some other hellscape. And I don't want my fellow missionaries who sought only camaraderie and peace to suffer the same fate. So they get the cart back up on the road. So now we have the party's initial cart pulled by the mule Destrian, as well as 2 horses who are pulling a more traditional wagon, which contained much of the missionaries' supplies, and now it will contain the bodies of these brigands as well, which the party wants to bring to Hommlet, specifically bring to the Church of St. Cuthbert there, by way of a few reasons. One would just be proof that these brigands are, near. These brigands are actively ambushing caravans along the road here in the region. 2, it's not unknown that the church has the ability to speak with the dead, right? So a cleric, somebody like Harold, would know that if there is a high enough level cleric there, he may be able to seance and interrogate some of these brigands, even though they are dead. And so that would be the other reason for them to bring these bodies. In addition, it's not like they have another 2 weeks to go where these things will stink like rotten mackerel. They will be in town in a number of hours or whatever. So they're going to pack up the bodies and they're going to roll into Hommlet. And just to also level set, we are currently on day 6. Let me see here. We are on day 5. Sorry. So another thing to keep in mind, this is super exciting, is so I guess we can just establish what month it is, and what day we actually started on the Greyhawkian calendar. So the Greyhawkian calendar here, in case you were wondering, is purposefully made to be very Earth-like. I mean, after all, we're only on Earth anyway, so it's got to be a pretty close analog. So again, 7 days a week. We got 3 work, 1 worship, 2 work, 1 rest. Not a bad deal. The dozen month, e.g. a year. So, and when Gary Gygax remade the world in his image, he decided that every month would be February. So every month has 28 days, so that there are no leap years on Earth. So good for him. Benevolent overlord, you have made the months correct. So every month here is 28 days, and these are just the different different names for the months here on the left in common. You can see. as well as, what the Olven and then what maybe the nomads might call them. And then sort of a rough swag on what season that would be. And so the Flanays being kind of temperate here, you can see that we really only have 2 months of hard winter, right? 2 months of spring, what they call low summer, high summer, and autumn. So let's just roll a d12 here and see where we end up as far as the actual month we started this whole shebang in. And we'll just retcon it to be fucking cold or super hot or whatever. All right, so we'll call Fire Seek 1 here. During Need Fest. We have Need Fest, Grow Fest, Rich Fest, and the long-awaited, ever-popular Brew Fest. All right. So 12. Whoosh. All right, so all the way down to the bottom. We are in Sunseb. So we're actually in winter here. So it would have been pretty brisk and pretty cold out. And then these are 28-ish days. But I had ruled that the 3 initial party members typically meet at the end of the month, so I'm just going to call it like the 26th. So we will say that we began this campaign in the year 576, the year of St. Cuthbert, 576. The month will be Sunseb, and it'll be the 26th. Which means as we traveled, if you recall, we traveled all the way from Verbabank down to Hommlet. Took a few days. Day 2, so day 1 was, day 2 was the scene of the crime. So day 1 was the 26th. Day 2 was the 27th. Day 3, we had embarked on our travel. That would have been the last day of Sunseb. And so day 4 of our campaign, we would have looped back over here to Fire Seek 1. Exciting stuff, I know. Fire Seek 1. Which would have been day 4. Day 5 would have been Fire Seek the 2nd. When we just had this combat, found Boar, and now are walking into Hommlet, bloodied, battered, and more determined than ever to find the soulless brigands who are behind all of this madness. So, okay, so let's hop over to here and just take a look at what awaits us. So, the party strolls into the village of Hommlet, and they are. I'm going to rule that Finn has been there several times. I'll say in their travels, Balding Pot and Garl maybe have stopped in briefly. That being said, the village of Hommlet is not exactly, a 100-mile metropolis. So the village of Hommlet itself looks a little bit like this, and it consists of sort of south of the river and north of the river. So you have sort of the south. That's the south side of Hommlet. South side. You have the Inn of the Welcome Wench, which is kind of the social focal point of the village of Hommlet. And then you have a road going out east, and that leads out to a castle that's being built somewhere out there. I mean, they'll see all this kind of coming in. It looks like it's being built. And then the road winds, north-south kind of through town, but bifurcated by a small river. And, you can see the village of Hommlet is mostly farms. There's like 20-something buildings here, maybe 30 buildings in the whole place. And then really in the north edge of town, you have the Church of St. Cuthbert. And so as the party actually enters town, they're actually entering from the north. So the first thing that they're going to actually encounter here, and let's just say it's, 5 or so in the afternoon, 4 in the afternoon, would be the Church of St. Cuthbert, which was kind of where they wanted to go anyway initially. So it's convenient. So we'll join the party as they make this kind of like somber couple of hour ride into the town with again the bodies of these brigands and as well as the wagon from the missionaries from Cord. Okay, so anyway, this is the module, obviously, and I suck at this, but spoilers, beware spoilers. If you're ever gonna like play this, go watch music reaction videos or something, because this is going to be like an utter spoiler-filled exercise where we're going to review the module, and we're going to DM this thing here on the on this YouTube channel in order to generate content for our audio drama. So you can see here, this is pretty typical 80s TSR trade dress with wall of text trademark, 3 columns. Yeah. And so we have some box text here that we're supposed to read. I don't know if Gygax wrote. I think Gygax. Let me see if this is the same box. Now I'm curious if it's the same box text as the original one. Let's see. Let's see if it is. You have box text. He uses the word bumpkin. That's kind of why I'm curious. He does. Okay. So in the original one, we get bumpkin. We just get the sans serif font here. Yeah, we'll generally read from the Menser edit here, which will, unfortunately the font is serifed, but it's cleaned up a little bit. It has some errata. It's generally considered the canonical one. I think maybe I'll get yelled at for that. But here, this paragraph is especially awesome. So the small community at the crossroads is a completely unknown quantity. Well, it's not completely true. We kind of know what's there. Again, we have a group of PCs who are worldly enough to have traveled in this area of the Flanays. The small community at the crossroads is a completely unknown quantity. What is there? Who will be encountered? Where should you go? These are your first explorations and encounters, so chance may dictate as much as intelligence. Will outsiders be shunned? Are the reports true? Is the whole community engaged in evil practices? Are the folk here bumpkins, easily duped? Does a curse lay upon those who dare to venture into the lands which were once the temples? All of these questions will soon be answered. And again, so this initially, so just to take a big step back, when I've run this in the past in pen and paper, one of the first things that this adventure, and I think it's, people have been critical of this adventure for this reason, but a lot of the old adventures modules kind of follow the same pattern, is that they don't really give you a hook. If you read that box text to your players and then stare at them, there's a chance that they just do nothing, right? And you guys just waste away in your basement in 1985 and just die there. They don't actually give you a compelling reason to be together other than, they don't even give you the Inn of the Welcome Wench as like the first thing, right? So the first thing you get is prosperous farm cottage and large barn. He talks about fat animals, farm dogs, and the XP you can get from slaughtering this poor man's animals. Like your party's going to be the ATF and just show up and shoot all this poor man's dogs. So you don't even really get directions as to what is this. Where should we head first? Your DM is supposed to have read this entire module, but anyway, my point being is that there isn't really a convenient way to get a party of otherwise uninitiated or player characters that don't necessarily know each other in world really together and motivated and rolling, which is why I like the whole interlude in verbal bonk or something similar, right? To get the party to roll into Hommlet as a group versus they all end up at the Inn of the Welcome Wench and just decide to go fight evil. So, that being said, we are at the Church of St. Cuthbert, which I believe is 38 here. So let's read about the Church of St. Cuthbert. This newly built edifice, God, I love High Gygaxian. This newly built edifice was raised by the Viscount in honor of the aid rendered to him by the Archcleric of Valuna during the war against the Temple of Elemental Evil. So, some cool lore here, right? Like, why is this little podunk bumpkin village this way stop in the middle of Valuna, which has really little going for it as far as trade or, compared to Verbobank's population? Why the fuck is there this temple for St. Cuthbert here? Well, the reason is because in this war against the temple, which we'll get into that lore in the narrative, a couple of the heroes of that fight actually reside here, and potentially we will meet them. So anyway, that was the Archcleric of Valuna decided this place, which is, spoilers, relatively close geographically to the site of the temple, that he would raise a fucking, what does he call it, an edifice? He would build an edifice here, either to keep an eye on the temple or just in the hopes that he could grow the strength of the church in this region. So what does it tell us here? So it says that a somewhat distant cleric and his assistant officiate during services and otherwise serve their flock. So we have two main NPCs here. We have this guy named Calmert, who's honest. He's also known for his zeal in obtaining contributions. He's very anxious to give a sum to the builders of the fortress under construction, so that's to be determined later. And then we have our canon, Turgeon, who we were supposed to meet, to whom we were supposed to deliver both these goods and this manifests. And we can see here in the original text that he had recently become chief cleric of the church, taking over from the canon Isidore, who has left unexpectedly and has not returned. And from what we understand, she will never return because her small intestines are now painting the streets of Verbobank. So the villagers say that he is not particularly friendly, and his stern demeanor is a cause of some speculation. So we're going to find out more about that later. Spoilers. Candidates Day might be in Nulb here, but anyway. And you can see here he's Calmert, and then he's Calmer here. So, all right. So let's role play this out. So the party rolls up, and the first thing they're greeted by is this rather rotund holy man in the lobby of the of this modest but sturdily built church, so Harold would obviously, be dressed in regalia that he would recognize. He was also given paperwork by the high priest in Verbobank, who we know, whose name was Awesome McFuckstick. Let me see what that guy's name was. Waverly Rothery, from our random name generator. And so Waverly Rothery had given him this manifest for all of the goods and stuff, the provisions that are delivered here monthly. So in this case, I think amongst the party it would make sense that Harold would kind of lead the way. And we know from a couple of past experiences that reaction checks in AD&D First Edition are percentage based, and they're kind of a lot less. They're a lot more freewheeling than, let's say, something like maybe Beckme. So the assumption here is that these two would be friendly, right? And I'll just roll a reaction check, and if I get something exceptionally high, then especially based on the fact that Harold is not ultra charismatic. I want to see our cleric's got 9 charisma. Yeah, 9 charisma. So he's a little bit awkward. So no. So, again, in his awkward nature. Oh. Sorry. Promise I rolled a crappy roll. All right, I rolled a 10. So his awkwardness gets the best of him as first of all, he's flustered from that combat. If you all recall from our last episode, Harold was utterly ineffective. I don't think he actually made contact with his mace. He cast 2 spells, missed 5 times, and then failed his healing roll after the halfling got smashed in the face with a mace. So he is not having a good day. His faith is not shaken, but he is, it's been a long day for Harold. He's just happy to be alive, and he's happy to be here at the at the church. So yeah, we can his charisma of 9 and a roll of a 10 means that he spits out some awkward introduction to Calmer, something like good brother in arms. I'm here from Verbalbank, delivering the month's provisions. And Calmert's kind of looking down at this wagon, and maybe the bodies are strapped on the roof or whatever, and he has a confused look on his face, and he says, "Tell me, young acolyte, what is this slaughter you have on the roof?" Maybe I'll make him some Irish bartender. What is this slaughter you have on the roof here? What's going on? You were supposed to bring provisions. Not a genocide of brigands. And he wanders down to the wagon, and Harold blurts out, "Yeah, it didn't go quite as planned, brother. We were set upon by these brigands. I also bring news for Turgeon, urgent news regarding the canoness." And Calmert says, "Well, what news is good enough for him is good enough for me. He's busy. What is it?" And Harold's kind of hesitant to give him the news, and Calmert says, "And who are these folk you bring with you? Are these followers of the cudgel?" And Balding Pot, kind of hops up to the front and says, "Why no, but we are in service of the cudgel, and we have brought these provisions to help ensure the well-being and operation of this great church here in Hommlet." All right, so 40-something? 47? What did I get? 47. So like a 51 with his charisma bonus. Calmert kind of eyes the halfling suspiciously. "Oh, I see you have a halfling amongst you. Would you be willing then to put your coin where your words are, and perhaps put a donation in the pot?" All right, so this is Calmert, always dialing for dollars. So yeah, I'll say that Balding Pot does a little bow and coughs up. I'll say he coughs up 5 gold pieces, which is, for an average working person in the Flanays, is a good amount of money. And he does a bow and rolls out 5 gold coins on his palm, and he says, "Of course, good sir. I can see. I've already seen the cudgel of justice in action in Verbalbank." And he reaches up and pats Harold on the back, and he goes, "And Harold here is a shining example of St. Cuthbert's justice, as he led the fight against the chaos and evil we met on the road with his mighty mace and help from St. Cuthbert himself." And so Calmert looks at the gold and is like, "All right, this is not a bad deal." And he scoops up the gold, puts it into a little leather purse, and says, "Right away then. Come inside, and I'll make sure that the canon sees you here momentarily, and I'll have some acolytes come and unload the provisions." And Boar steps forward and kneels and says, "I am a missionary from the Church of Cord." And Calmert kind of squints and says, "Cord, huh? Isn't he the god of playing games?" And Boar stands up at this, and he said, "No, good sir. He is the god of competition and sport, and you would do well to respect him." And Calmert kind of leans back a little bit, and Boar is an imposing figure. And he says, "Very well, what have you to offer the cudgel?" And at this point, Boar is kind of looking sideways, and he looks, and he says, "I present to you our mission's wagon, as well as these 2 fine horses for you to care for. And I want to thank your acolyte, Harold, for providing the burial rites to to my fellow missionary who died at the hands of these evil brigands. And at that point, Calmert feels kind of bad, not realizing that this guy, had lost his whole missionary party. And he says, "My apologies. I didn't realize you were the one who had suffered such loss at the hands of chaos." So they unload the cart. They go inside. They wait around a bit, and then they are escorted up to see the head cleric. All right, let's see here. And so, oops. Harold makes some small talk with Calmert at that point. Calmert lets him know that, I guess Calmert at that point would also see several injured party members. And I am going to rule that since the reaction roll was not good, that he's not going to immediately offer healing. But we'll see. Maybe after talking to Turgeon, that will change. So Harold alone, since the reaction roll was also not great, Harold alone heads upstairs to talk to Turgeon. And he says, Turgeon rolls out, and he's an older man, dressed in what would you'd be considered to be finery for cleric of St. Cuthbert. And as you can see from if you were to kill him, Gary Gygax says you could immediately get 796 XP. So, matter of fact, if you were to just commit mass homicide on the church, you would get, looks like 1,000 XP. So not bad. If you really wanted to just raise Hommlet to the ground, you could probably get to level 2 or 3. So you'll notice that throughout this entire thing, that everything is assigned XP, right? So, again, if you want to kill the Browmeister, or his nephew, you can get yourself 15 XP. All 3 of his apprentices, just run them through with a sword. You can get yourself a solid 40 XP for a triple homicide. So anyway, again, like this whole thing is kind of, again, this is like how modules were back in the day. But if you were to be relatively uninitiated, you wouldn't necessarily understand that the intention here wasn't that you would run around Hommlet. I'm sure quite a few 9-year-old dungeon masters encouraged their parties in 1986 or whatever when this came out, or T1 when it came out, to run around and perhaps skin the younger sons of the farmer alive in order to obtain the necessary experience points to get to level 3. But we won't be doing that here. We'll be strictly neutral good, and we won't kill anybody here in the village who doesn't deserve it. Okay, so the conversation with Turgeon carries on for a bit. Turgeon's first reaction is kind of like a facepalm when he realizes that he'll be unable to leave. So he says, "Well, I suppose my time here then will be extended, and this is horrific news to learn of the canoness's death. However, the news you bring me is not new to me. There have been many sightings, as well as reports of bandit activity coming in and out of Hommlet. Specifically, merchant caravans have been targeted. This is not good because we are trying to build this community into a larger city and a hub and a shining example of justice and law in the name of St. Cuthbert. Specifically, we're building a tower and a castle here, and the 2 men who will lead that are Bernie and Rufus, heroes of the Battle of Emery Meadows, and they are also devout followers of the cudgel." So Turgeon regales him with some stories of bandit activity, and so Harold says, "Well, do you have any idea, where they may be headquartered, or what do you recommend we do? Obviously, we want justice not only for the canonists, but for these missionaries of Cord who may still be alive." And Turgeon says, "Cord? and Harold says, yes, Cord, we rescued 2 missionaries from Geoff, who are worshippers of Cord. And Turgeon looks him in the eye and he said, do not take the word of another god lightly. Your devotion is to St. Cuthbert. And Harold kind of his balls drop a little bit, and he kind of stands up and he says, Canon, with all due respect, these missionaries fought bravely against evil, and while their ways may not be as strictly in guidance with the law as ours, they may be more free-spirited than ours. In their hearts is good, and that is what matters. They would be brothers in arms against evil with us. All right. Oh, fuck. I did it again. I promise you I didn't cheat this roll. Let me see here. So we got a 79. So that's pretty good. So Turgeon, sees a little fire in the belly of this acolyte, as well as now maybe he thinks to himself, all right, well, this acolyte has got a little fire in his belly, and he's got this riled up missionary of Cord, who's probably a good, big, strapping young lad, given most adherents of Cord are. So maybe this party can actually get this done for him, which would be a feather in his cap, and he may be able to pack his bags and leave if they can clear out this bandit activity, and he can take credit for it. So he leans in to Harold and he says, "You know what, young man? You are right. You are just the group to do this job for a couple of reasons. One, you've seen these bandits in action. Secondly, you're outsiders. And I do fear that there is some influence somewhere in Hommlet of evil, but we haven't been able to root it out yet. So I know I can trust you because you've come from the outside, and it seems like you're only here after hearing your story because of a stroke of fate." So he pulls out a map, and on it he sketches out the existence of a moat house, which is in a swampy region just northeast of Hommlet. And he says there's a strong chance that this moat house is being used as a base of operations based on where these merchant caravans have been hit, either on the high road or the low road, or just emerging from the Cron Hills. So he says, I think you should go investigate this moat house and see if, in fact, these brigands are based there. And he says, but keep word of this low. There are some people in town, again, who I think are in leagues, perhaps, with evil. So, and then, so I think Harold here would say, absolutely, Turgeon, Canon, we'll get right on it. It's late. We need rest. Some of my party members were injured in the quest for justice and freeing these prisoners, and to bring them here to Hommlet, I would humbly ask that we help to heal them. So I'll rule here that they are able to go back downstairs, or Turgeon himself, who's got, Turgeon himself is a pretty boss level cleric. He's a level 6 cleric, which is pretty strong. Anyway, and obviously, I'll rule here that the Church of St. Cuthbert, let's say, has they don't specifically detail here how much it would cost to beg them into a cure spell, but I think it's reasonable to assume that if Turgeon's going to use these guys as his foot soldiers, that he would be happy to heal them. So I'm going to rule that everybody he applies healing, which, technically even Harold could, right? So Harold blunked his spontaneous conversion roll, but anyway, so I'll rule that the Turgeon here is willing to heal everybody up. So That'll bring Finn up to 16. Garl up to 10. Balding Pot up to 6. Harold, who is at 9, and Boar is at 10. Okay, so so then they of course ask, what's a safe place to spend the night, and Turgeon recommends that they shack up at the Inn of the Welcome Wench, which is on the south side of Hommlet. All right. So, the moment you've all been waiting for, the party enters the, so now at this point, the provisions have been unloaded. I have some bookkeeping and inventory here to do on the gold. Balding Pot gave a few pieces of gold to the church. But they go ahead and kind of get the whirlwind tour of the village as they head south. And they end up at the Inn of the Welcome Wench, where there's a stable for their mule and their cart. And so they head inside, and I believe, let's see what that is. So the inn is 7 here. Large building with sign. So, the square wooden sign shows a buxom and smiling girl holding a flagon of beer. This must be the Inn of the Welcome Wench, a place renowned for its good food and excellent drink. Passing merchants make a point of stopping, as do many other sorts of wayfarers, and it is said that the place is always filled with patrons. So, the party does, in fact, find the building full of patrons. And, so they wander in, and we're going to say, after sort of the interactions at the church, it's prime time. It's 7:38 in the evening. And in there they find a hustling, bustling Dungeons & Dragons inn. And they have, they're hungry. So, let's see. Initially, what's going to happen is, we're going to find some tavern music here. Let's see. Let's find tavern. Ooh, we have a Viking tavern, a halfling lodge. How about let's see. Yeah, so this place is bustling, let's say, right? And I'll say there's music. All right. So they roll into they stow the mule. Our mule's named Destrian. They stow the mule and they head inside. And there's a fireplace. Oh, actually, here you want to see something utterly useless, but awesome. Awesomely useless. So what I'll show you here is, I believe the module has, maybe it's not in 1 through 4, but it's definitely in T1, is an entire fucking map of, there's like a breakdown and an architectural blueprints of the Inn of the Welcome Wench here. So let's go. Yeah, so once again, if you wanted to go room to room, just committing mass murder, you have your floor plan here. So this is the Inn of the Welcome Wench, which is a 2-story building. So you can see here, the party comes in. To the left is the bar. Several large hearths are against, let's call it like this, I guess, northwest wall. And there are a number of patrons in here. Look like, bog standard farm folk. But the first thing that they do is they make a beeline to the innkeeper to sign into the book. And the guy manning the bar he's a tall, wide man. Looks like he was probably pretty frisky back in his prime, but now he's got a bit of a dad bod and a pot belly, and he roars up and says, "Welcome to the Inn of the Welcome Wench. I'm Ostler. Be seeking a room." And I guess really establishing who the face man of the party is, for these otherwise neutral sort of interactions. It's probably, just in terms of the charismas involved here, we've got really nobody stands out. Finn's got a 12. Balding Pot's got a 13. Given that Balding Pot probably can't even see over the bar, I'll say that Finn kind of leads the way. Also, maybe there's a hair's chance that Finn's even, met this guy before. I mean, I'll say, let's go with like an Oracle style roll here. Like 1 or 2. We'll do the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So 5 and 6 will be 4 will be no but, no and, yes and, yes but, yes. So 3's a yes, 4 is a straight no. Let me write this down. This is like the simplest oracle in the world, and it's a good way to keep things. So 1 is, actually we'll make 1 negative. So no and is 1, no but, no, straight no, straight yes, yes and, or yes but, yes and. All right. So does Finn know Ostler? 2. No, but. I'll say, what makes sense here is probably no, but he's heard of him. So he's passed through Hommlet, but being a ranger, he's got no reason to go stay up here. He would have stayed maybe. Does Finn have or know the druid? No, and in fact, he doesn't know the druid here. In fact, the druids are a little bit at odds with the rangers of the gnarly forest. Let's say there's some argument over something. We'll get to that later. But so Finn is very much without any kind of a hook here. So he leans in and says, "Yes, actually we are. We've had a long road here in from Verbalbank, and let's just say, in the hours that they were spending up at this church of St. Cuthbert, rumors, village children who had seen things up at the church, seen the bodies being pulled off of the wagon. Let's just say rumors traveled fast because we're a couple of 2-3 hours fast forwarded now. Have the rumors of or the news of brigand bodies spread here? No, but they will this evening as the miller files in. So during the course of the evening, by the time everybody's good and drunk, the news will have spread that some of these brigands actually got brought back and are brought back to the church. So Ostler looks him up and down and says, "Oh, excellent. Are you staying for the night?" And Finn says, "Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and stay for the night. Do you have any rooms?" And so you can see here there are quite a few rooms upstairs. So this is the upper floor. So here's like kind of the eating room, but then we have a good number of sleeping rooms. So this is the common room is 15, which is pretty shitty. We have room 6, which is definitely the penthouse because it has its own fireplace. So let's just say that there are 2d6 occupants. Sorry. Ooh, empty. There's only 3 occupants so far. Okay. So, with only 3 occupants, Ostler is definitely keen to rent out the rooms. He says, we have plenty of vacancies. I see there's 5 of you. So that will that be 5 rooms? And Garl kind of coughs and says, "No. How about 3 rooms?" He's a little stingy. Finn doesn't really have a problem with it, and so they settle on 3 rooms. And so there, he says, Oster said, "Well, you need to sign the logbook, and then we'll have no problem getting your rooms ready. Full menu available." He hands them a piece of parchment with menu, and they can smell the food here, and it certainly smells good. So they go ahead and head over to a table here to get some food. Looks like locals are pretty much consuming the tables here in the middle, where it's labeled 1. There's some people playing dice and cards over here near 3. A robed man sits alone here over by the hearth. And remember, we're in the dead of fucking winter right now, so it's cold. So they're going to go sit with this robed guy who's reading a book over here near Area 2 because it's warm. And they've been wandering around all afternoon. They've been camping for a few days. They just want to eat their mutton stew and have a good meal and sit over here. So they sit down at this table with this fella, and he stands up and he goes, "Greetings. My name is Spoonwar. Who may you be?" And they give a brief description of who they are. They don't really want to reveal too much, remembering that the canon had told them that there is the possibility of evil agents about in Hommlet. And he says, "You look much like the adventuring type. Have I qualified that correctly?" And Balding Pot just can't help himself. He's been out in the woods for 5 days, and he chirps back and says, "Why, yes, you may have heard of us. We are the ones seeking justice for the slain Canoness Yde." And Garl gives him a hand upside the back of the head. Rumors of her demise. And Spoonwar says, "Ah, I see. Well, I follow this. I'm a devout follower of the Church of St. Cuthbert. In fact, the reason I'm here in Hommlet is both to go to the church here, as well as research magic on behalf as a sage for the church." So they kind of look him over, and Harold says, "Excellent. I see that you are, in fact, reading," and he, spits out some Cuthbertian eschatology as far as the book that he's reading. It's, somewhat legit. He doesn't really have Detect Evil memorized. Actually, he did have Detect Evil memorized on day 5. He hasn't really swept yet. Interesting. So, yeah, he wouldn't necessarily... he wouldn't necessarily have any reason to just detect evil on this poor schlub. But he could in the future. So Spoonwar kind of leans in and he says, "In fact, in my research, as I understand it, this area was once the site of a horrific battle against evil. And what I'm really interested in is finding some sturdier adventurers to pair up with so that I can find and record as many arcane scrolls, magical scrolls, and artifacts as I can for my catalog and my book and my essay that I am writing on the fall of the Temple of Elemental Evil." And everybody kind of looks at him cross. And they all say, "Temple of Elemental Evil? What is it? That sounds like a bad poem." And Spoonwar says, "In fact, a sad story it was." And he regales them with a brief history, and he's a sage and a wizard of the Temple of Elemental Evil. So they sit and eat for a while, and at this point, the townfolk are really churning over here in the main area, and they turn to look at them. And at this point, the rumors of their not the rumors, but the news of the fact that this group, had basically just killed a group of bandits and dragged them back to Hommlet for justice. A particularly large man brings over like 4 flagons of ales, and this is just a barrel-chested motherfucker. And he comes over, and he is obviously drunk, and he goes, "Well, here's some beers for the heroes of Hommlet." And he clanks them down, and the ale sprays all over, and he goes, "My name is Elmo, and I'm honored to be in your presence." And he burps a few more times. And so, this guy's 6'4", 240, just big old farm boy. Here, and he raises a flagon up, and then they they're happy to accept the praise. And the only people not really celebrating are backloonish looking guy, as well as a somber looking guy with long hair, who are parked against this bench by the main fire. One of them looks clearly like a backloonish, maybe a monk or a missionary. And the only other folks who are sort of distracted are the folks gambling over here near Area 3. So they finish their meal, and they get some small talk with the town folk, and then Finn goes up to pay for his meal, and Ostler puts his hands on Finn's hand and says, "Perhaps we can arrange for some long-term housing here, if you could help me out with a small problem." And Finn, who's had a long day also, just says, "Well, we have cash. What would you have us do? We already have plans here for the next few days that are very pressing, and I'm not sure what you'd have us do." And he goes, "Oh, no, nothing like that." He goes, "Look over there." And Finn kind of wheels around, and he sees this table of gambling, and he says, he leans in, and he goes, "I've heard that guy over there is cheating my customers out of their hard-earned gold. Any chance you could catch him with some of your," he squiggles his head back and forth, and he goes, "adventurer's guile?" And Finn just kind of takes a deep breath and is like, "Ostler, we're really not looking to get into a bar fight here, and but let me go talk to my friends here and see if one of them's a little well-versed in gambling, and maybe can go, see what's going on." "Okay, well, if you can catch him cheating, or if you can figure this out, that would go a long way to me cleaning the place up, And so Finn kind of nods to him, and he goes back to the table. And at this point, he kind of tells the party, "Hey, this is this is what the guy's talking about." And Spoonwar kind of, at this point, chimes in and says, "Oh, yes. That fellow over there, he's a bit of a snake oil salesman, a bit of a charlatan, calls himself Furnock." And so the group looks together, and at this point, Balding Pot's like, "I'll catch him." Balding Pot, who fancies himself a bit of a gambler, and as well as a follower of Farlongen, lights up his tobacco pipe and says, "Let me go try." So he's going to head over there, and so just to step back here a little bit. So 2 things. One, our 6th party member is none other than Spoonwar, the Veiled. And so, of course, we rolled him up in session 0. And, what I have done here is, this is no secret, but the original module seeds he seeds the module with several just random characters who are hanging out, like in Hommlet, specifically hanging out in the Inn of the Welcome Wench. And so he's described as, I believe, as a sage. So if you look here, Area 7, Inn of the Welcome Wench. If you wanted to know how much an elaborate breakfast was in Greyhawk, it's 2 silver. Which means that really nobody should starve in Greyhawk, because you can get a plain breakfast for 5 copper pieces, which is really cheap, even with inflation. So anyway, I'll have to do some accounting here, but the party, I would say the party is absolutely down to buy a plain supper here, as well as some ale. But the Inn of the Welcome Wench is known for, you can see here, I know you're super interested in all of this. Wait till we get to the temple proper. You're going to know every kind of sausage that has ever been made in the history of the Flanays, by way of Gary's obsession with like filling rooms with sundry goods like sausage and stuff. So anyway, so you can see here that they're known for choice venison, mutton, poached salmon. I'm hungry. I'm recording this at like 5 o'clock. I'm ready to fucking eat. Trout stuffed with specially prepared mid-kidney pie with mushrooms or truffles. Like, that's got garlic side. He loves mushrooms. A squab, stuffed pheasant, boiled crayfish. Boiled crayfish. That's foreboding. It's foreshadowing. The dark foreshadowing of crustaceanal vengeance. Okay, so it goes into great detail about what it's served in, the amount it is. I mean, it's awesome. Okay. Special brew, 15 silver pieces. No, what's that? Okay, so you can see here that the various folk who are hanging out in here are detailed, and so we've encountered Spoonwar. So in the original module, Spoonwar is just an NPC, and he's I don't think they use his alignment here. Level 2 magic user. Spoonwar, the Invoker. I call him Spoonwar. I'm calling him Spoonwar the Veiled, not an Invoker. Okay. And, of course, we generated him randomly, so all this is fucking bullshit. And so read magic, detect magic, and sleep. So he's an NPC that you could, again, if you're running the module as written back in the day, you could grab this guy and take him on as an NPC. And really, he is on the level, right? So he is in the module as written. He will claim to be working for a sage. Really, all he wants is scrolls. He doesn't give a shit about gold. He doesn't give a shit about crayfish. He just wants scrolls. So, but he has learned some facts. So he knows the location of the moat house, which is true here. So he's able to confirm the moat house location. He has his own version of the map, and it matches Turgeon's. So, but he learned that a warlock once was stationed there, and that's why there's these scrolls somewhere buried in there. But he's sort of posing as a sage, just to be nondescript, not trying to actually be recognized as a wizard. So that is Spoonwar. However, we are down here interacting with Fernok. Okay, and he's over there. He's playing cards, and Fernok may have some interaction. We're not 100% sure if Fernok is going to come along with us for a couple of reasons. One is I don't really have a hook for him, and I didn't generate him. And two is he's actually a 4th level thief. So again, rules as written. If the party could strike a deal with Fernok, he'll go along for an equal share, right? And he's not evil. He might slip a gem into his pocket or be thiefy or whatever, but he's actually a really, again, this is a 1st level module intended for players rolled up right at the table. So having a 4th level thief come along is actually pretty good for a couple reasons. First of which is just like having an extra body is good. Fourth level thief can fight a little bit. I think he's armed with a short sword, a dagger, but they gave him an 18 dex, which is like really good. If you want to just crush his skull like a cantaloupe, you can get 207 XP for just murdering him in the woods. He has a dagger +1. So if you happen to die, you'd end up with a magic item. So anyway, he's got a couple of magic items, and so he's a pretty good NPC to come along. So I don't want it to just be a free roll that he would come along. So Balding Pot, I'll say, rolls up with his smoking pipe, wanting to gamble, and so what it tells us here is that he loves to gamble in part since he knows how to nick cards, and he owns a pair of loaded knuckle bones. So this gives him a 60% chance of winning at a hand of cards, right? So I'm going to rule that Balding Pot rolls up and says, I'll get into the next hand. What's the buy-in? And he says it's 5 silver or like 1 gold. So I'll say Balding Pot throws his gold in. And so let's say they play a hand here, so we'll say play cards. So Furnock has a 60% chance of winning. So 60 or under and Furnock wins. He does. So Furnock collects the pot. Play another hand, why don't you? I'm going to give Balding Pot a chance now to try to notice the nicked cards. And you'll see here in AD&D that as a thief, Balding Pot has some abilities that are randomly percentages. Here, we can do our... That's kind of shitty, but here. You can see here. So Balding Pot actually has a... it's a 15%... We have hear noise... What thief skill would be good to use here? I think probably like find traps. Maybe find traps. Right? It's kind of like using your eyes. Yeah. So I'm going to say he has a 25% chance of noticing these nicked cards. He doesn't. All right. So, he's going to lay down another gold and play another hand. And Furnock's got a 60% chance to win the hand. And he wins again. So, Balding Pot loses another gold. But, playing another round gives him a chance, 25% or under, to notice. Fuck, I realize I'm not fucking... Okay. So, a 68. He doesn't notice. All right, so Balding Pot's like... By now, the party is sort of sighing over there, watching their hard-earned gold just go down the toilet in this game of cards. Harold, in particular, is disgusted by gambling, as it's inherently a chaotic act. Garl is kind of laughing at this point, hoping that Balding Pot will soon lose his shirt. Okay. So, Furnock wins again, 55. So, Balding Pot is now 3 gold down, and let's see if Balding Pot is able to notice. 55 again. He's not able to notice. Frustrated. Oops, frustrated that I just threw my dice across the fucking floor. All right. Yeah. Frustrated at the fact that, A, he's not winning, and that's pissing him off more than even discerning the cards. He's going to throw another gold down. At this point, a couple of the townsfolk are just... I mean, this is too rich for their blood. Let's say the Wheel and Wainwright was over there. A couple of people, of professionals around town, but man, they can't keep up with this level of gambling. So, play another hand again. 60 or under, Furnock wins a 9. Oh yeah, Furnock's got a fucking royal flush. All right, but Balding Pot's going to really stare at the cards and see, and he just can't really notice. He just thinks the guy's super lucky. All right, last chance here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to go. Now it's just Balding Pot and Furnock. Furnock's even getting a little bit nervous. This halfling at this point drank like 3 flagons of beer. He's a little drunk. 60% or better. Let's see if he wins the hand. No, he doesn't. All right, so Balding Pot wins this hand back. So now he's... so he wins his own gold back plus Fernach's gold. So he was at minus 5 with this pot they just put in. So now he's minus 3. Minus 3 GP. He's down 3 gold. Let's see if he notices any nicked cards. He needs a 25 or under. Fuck no, 95. All right. So I'm going to rule that he's unable to catch him cheating. But at this point, Balding Pot leans back. Let's say Garl walks over and he goes, puts his hand on his back and says, I think you've had a little too much to drink and a few too many rounds of cards here. What are you down? And he goes, I'm only down 3 gold. I can make it back. And Fernach says, how about a game of dice and then we call it a night? Friends. Balding Pot says, sure. All right. Fernach has a 75% chance at winning this dice game. So we're going to go minus 4 gold. Throws another gold down. And he wins the game of dice. And let's see if Balding Pot can notice that the dice are loaded. 71. He cannot. All right. So Fernach extends a hand and says, good game. Let's play again tomorrow, but I'm going to retire for the night. So Balding Pot's kind of upset. And then, so at this point, the rest of the party has wandered over, including the newly found Spoonwar. And Fernach stands up and he takes a bow and he says, "I'm Fernach of Ferned. Pleasure to meet you all. As the evening has progressed, as I understand it, you are some kind of heroes of the road." And he looks around at them, and they say, "Yeah, we encountered some brigands, and we intend to root them out of the area." And that's basically all they'll say to this guy. Again, this guy is not. Again, Harold especially has got a stink eye towards this guy and his gambling. And he says, "Well, if I can be of service in any way, I am a jack of all trades, a master of a few. I love to adventure, and I'm always on the lookout for rare artifacts as I dabble in the mercantile field." And so they kind of give him a look, and we'll give a reaction roll for. Let's give a reaction roll for Fernach towards the party. So Fernach's charisma is 13, which is the same as Balding Pot. So he'd have a plus 5% on a reaction roll. So a 37, and I think our trusty Dungeon Master's Adventure Guide gave us some guidance here on what these percentages could mean. It's uncertain at this point, but 55% prone towards negative. So let's just say that's Harold saying, we don't need a gambler in our midst. This is serious business, and he's kind of grumbling about it. So let's roll again. If it's 55 or under, then I'm going to rule that Harold puts the kibosh on it. No. So 90. So Finn kind of leans back, and he gets in with Harold and says, "I'll keep an eye on him, Harold, but I have a feeling that the skills that this guy talks about are something we could use, especially if we're going to have to investigate a moat house, which may have many locked doors and other traps and trials and tribulations." So Fernach kind of leans in and he says, "I am highly experienced in climbing, and I can be super helpful on an expedition." All right, so 53 plus his 5% is 58. So that would be uncertain, but 55% now prone towards positive. So 55 or under, and we're going to say that they're willing to accept him on. Boom, 46. All right. So the party says, "All right, Fernach, we're going to leave tomorrow, and what are your terms? And he says, all I ask for is a fair share of the treasure, and a chance to buy any artifacts that we may find on our journey. And so they kind of nod in agreement, and they head upstairs. So as they pass up, Ostler leans into Finn and says, what, was he cheating? And he says, not that we could see, no. I just think he's really good at cards, and Balding pops up and says, and especially good at dice. So, that's kind of it. All right. So we're going to go ahead and retire and rest. So just to cover Spoonwar, we of course generated him in session 0, but he is in fact our wizard. And just as a review, let's see here. He is a first level wizard, not a second level wizard like he is in the not a second level wizard like he is in the game. And these were his stats that we rolled up. And I need to fill out his saving throws, but we did roll to see what's in his spell book. And so he has a pretty extensive spell book. The rules in AD&D are actually pretty liberal as far as like being able to add spells to your spell book. So he's a level 1 magic user. He's got himself some daggers. Sorry here. He's got himself some daggers. He's got himself a leather backpack, belt pouches, small sack. He's got a bunch of scroll cases because he's ready to find some scrolls. Rations, water skin, spellbook, ink and quill, tinderbox, bedroll, metal mirror, chalk 4, bag of marbles, 4 torches. So having a wizard along for the ride isn't always the worst as far as like you need somebody to carry the torch. And so he has he can memorize one spell. Again, he's not an evoker in this. My Spoonwar is the one we rolled up. He's just a fucking magic user. He's not this one. He's not an illusionist. So he's gonna get stone 1 spell that he can memorize in the morning. And he's got light shield, spider climb, burning hands, charm person, identify, hold portal, detect magic. So I'm gonna rule that he's positioning himself as a sage and an explorer. I believe what he would memorize. Again, he's not going to have a strategic discussion with the party about what to memorize. They don't know what's in his spellbook. They don't necessarily trust each other 100% yet. But he knowing that he's about to go on a dangerous expedition, he's just going to memorize shield. All right, and shield is not going to really do anything other than keep him alive. But shield is see here. Shield is kind of the best defensive spell, I guess, that wizards get in at least at first level in AD&D, which is like in later editions it's gonna mostly be replaced, I think, with I guess they call it armor or mage armor. I think armor in AD&D maybe came with Unearthed Arcana. I can't remember, but there's no armor spell here, as you can see in vanilla first edition. So he's gonna go ahead and memorize shield. There's some absolutely dumpster spells in first edition, first level. In fact, I did a small experiment. Just check it out, Osric, and like how many of these should actually just be cantrips. And then what I did was I rolled for his spells on my modified first level spell table, which took all the junk like mending and read magic and moved it to level 0 to leave the look at shield. Like that's a fucking spell. Check out those arrows. There's a spear and 2 arrows. 1 arrow breaks, 1 arrow is deflected. This wizard has an imp mounting him. He's holding a fucking a fucking donut hole. Yeah, and this man has cast shield. So anyway, I took a bunch of the shitty ones and I just dumped them down to level 0, and then I rolled for Spoonwar spells on the remaining 12. I will eventually get this stuff up on a blog. So, I started this whole thing off saying I'm going to run this by the book, and then I'm on to like my 5th house rule by now. Anyway, back to shield. So shield's decent as far as like staying alive. The main issue with it, of course, is that it doesn't last for very long. So it's 5 rounds per level, so it'll last like minutes. A round is a minute, but you can cast it super quick. It's 1 segment. So as long as you get any kind of initiative, you should be able to get it off before you get popped. And it'll negate magic missile attacks, full stop. You get AC 2 against things they throw, AC 3 against, it gives a bunch of examples here, including manticore spikes, and then AC 4 against any other forms of attack, and then +1 against saving throws against shit that's basically frontal. So full frontal nudity, you get +1 saving throws. So he could do spider climb. Probably, he thinks he's about to walk over to a moat house. That's not gonna be super useful. Again, light not useful when he has a torch. Again, you can use light and cast it on people's eyes. Burning Hands is not awful. Burning Hands isn't awful, and honestly, if he had 2 spells to memorize, it wouldn't be the worst idea for him to memorize Burning Hands. First of all, super fast, 1 segment, 1 round. And you hold your hands out and you blast. I think it's 3 inches. Yeah, 3 inches in length. In front of the magic user. No saving throw. Actually, maybe this does suck rocks. I thought it was 1d4. It's one hit point of damage per level of experience. Yeah, never mind. That spell is shit. Okay, maybe let me. I love the fucking Osric double take here. Are these all the cleric spells? Yeah. Okay. Have I ever told you how much I hate this fucking PDF reader? Okay, yeah. What page are the... Burning Hands is page 69. I know we're down the rabbit hole here, but fuck it. All right, 69. It's page 69. Jesus Christ. Holy fuck. All right. 69. Burning Hands. See if it's just as terrible. Oh, yeah. Yeah, never mind. That spell's a fucking dumpster. Okay, so that will do absolutely nothing, really. Other than maybe set your own teammates on fire. Yes, so things would have to just line up so perfectly for this spell to matter. Like, a bunch of goblins get on you and you set them all on fire, but it's not going to kill anything. It's going to have 1 hit point. So maybe if you're an 8th level magic user and then you're back looking, well, what the heck should I, I can't put Ettins to sleep or whatever you're fighting when you're 8th level. You're still only doing 8 damage. Yeah, this spell's quite terrible. It could actually be a cantrip. Anyway, compare that to Caco Demon. Okay, so he's going to memorize back to this. See, it's really between Charm Person and Shield. I think he's going to be conservative and take Shield. And I'm going to just say that he has a 2d6 gold. 11 gold. Yeah, all right. Yeah, I never really rolled up the initial gold for Balding Pot and these guys. So Balding Pot will have 8 minus... Well, shit, he's down 4 gold. Balding Pot has 4 gold. Our Ranger... 4 gold. So I'll have the party gold as well. The party actually just got a bunch of gold for... Boar, I'll say, has no fucking gold. Harold, I'll say, it lives lean. Oh, it says he has 9 gold. I must have rolled first gold. Alright, and then Garl, same thing. I'll do 2d4. Or 2d6, sorry. He's got a gentleman's 6 gold. Okay. Not likely to matter. So the party, I guess minus Spoonwar, but whatever, we can handwave some of that, just came into possession of 50 gold, which was what they were paid to bring the wagon down of provisions. Their cart of provisions. It's a cart. Okay, so the party goes to sleep. I will say in the morning that Harold prays for 2 cure light wounds, and being a little wiser to the world now. Being a little wiser to the world. Harold will memorize. Yeah, I think Bless is pretty much trash. He's picturing wandering off into the woods here, and you know, this could be dangerous, right? Oops, illusionist. Sorry. Yeah, this could be a dangerous day ahead of him. We're going to this foreboding moat house to potentially confront evil brigands. His last combat went real poor. So rather than rolling randomly here, I think he's going to memorize command. So command and 2 cure light wounds, and then my house rule is that he can spontaneously convert that command to another cure light wounds if he can make a wisdom check, which he failed to do before. All right, so the party gets a good night's sleep. They intend to maybe one more thing before they head upstairs. Let's see if anybody notices. Let's go with like a wisdom check here. Anybody notices the monk giving them the stink eye as they head up to bed? The monk and the big guy. Where am I here? Where's my little mapo? All right, so we'll do Harold. Oh. 1. Go no further. All right. So as the party shuffles up to their rooms, he asks for the rest of his newfound friends to just huddle up for a few minutes in one of their rooms. So they've got 3 rooms, 2 people to. We'll say Spoonwar has his own room already. He could have been one of the 3 people upstairs. Actually, that's not true. The 3 people upstairs, I already know who they are. So Spoonwar is going to room with, let's say, Harold. They're both followers of St. Cuthbert. So we'll have Boar and Finn. We'll have Garl and Balding Pot and Spoonwar and Harold. So they're all kind of getting ready to rest. And Harold leans in and he says, "Those 2 by the fireplace downstairs, they were eyeing us suspiciously the whole time." And Garl says, "Oh, this is just your stuffy clerginess." And Harold says, "No, there's something wrong with those 2. And Turjon has asked us to be on the lookout for evil agents. And I just have a suspicion that those 2, just the way they were looking at us the whole time, they're up to something. So, let's keep an eye out." All right. So the party will go to sleep, and they will head out in the morning. I'm going to rule that they'll station their mule here. So I'll do the bookkeeping on how much it costs them to actually stay in this room. Again, they just came into a pretty decent chunk of change for the whole delivery. So, okay, so let's take a look here. So for us to get out to this moat house, it's 1, 2, and then we start to hit this swamp. 3, 4, 5, about 5 hexes. So really, I think it's we said 21 miles was about what we could do. 3 miles a league. So I'm going to say that we can get to this initial swamp area in the first day, heading out early. But we're going to have to camp before we make it another 3 miles through this kind of... We have a path, this high road. But it... Yeah, so I'll say that I'm not worried about the swamp necessarily. Yeah, but we do need to roll for our random encounters. So, going back to our Dungeon Master's Adventure Guide, we learned last week, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, that we can know. This is pretty much isn't quite the. There is a road, but it is certainly not a. Not a super well-traveled area, so they will be rolling. They'll be rolling a few times per day. So we'll get out of Hommlet, and we will roll to see if we get a random encounter. We'll go with moderate to sparse for this first hex. Okay. Go to our actual overhead map. We have a map. All right. So, let's go ahead and move our Bible here. Got Dungeon Master's Guide. And believe it or not, I've got 12-sided die. The 8 people who are watching, did you sing along? I've got Ace Frehley and Nightcrawler 2 waiting there for me. Yes, I do. Okay. So I've got Dungeon Master's Guide, I've got a 12-sided die, and I have this map. And this map now, what I don't have is a fucking camera that can lean over far enough here. So, let's see if this works. All right. Well, that's fucking miserable because now it's sideways. All right. So we're just going to go ahead and, this is going to suck for a minute. I'm going to slide this under here. And, okay. So, where's our Geoff Con die? So we're in Hommlet. And we're trying to get to, let's say here. All right. So our most expeditious path would be on this high road. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going to be 6 hexes. So it's going to be 2 days. And as we learned from our tables, the chance of the encounter, I'll call... we're going to call this first day the plains. So we're going to check morning, evening, and midnight. All right? And it's 1 and 12. We'll call it moderate to sparse. Patrolled. Plus, we do have these roving bands of bandits as well. So 1 and 12. 1's going to be bad. 3. Nope. So that was the morning. All right? And we're doing 3 hexes a day. Yeah, 3 hexes a day. Yeah, so we're normal burden, normal terrain. Because the mule's at home. All right. So that was morning. We're going to do, again, we're on plains. So we'll do evening. Nope, 2. Man, we're creeping closer. All right, so we make camp. And we're going to check at midnight, 1 through 12. 2 again. All right. So now for the next, so 1, 2, 3. All right. We got 1, 2, 3 to go. So this is going to be the next day. So not all right. So now we're on day 6. We're on day 6. That is the 3rd of this new month. No encounter. -1 day ration. We're going to go on to day 7. And now I'm going to rule that we are a little more out in the boonies here, in this sort of shitty road area. So this is going to be uninhabited wilderness. We're going to go 1 in 10. I don't know quite that we are in the marsh yet. I guess the map shows a marsh. All right, how about I split the difference? We'll keep doing the 1 to 12, but we're actually in a marsh. I mean, that's what the map actually shows. And the moat house is surrounded by a deep marsh. All right, so we're going to wake up for breakfast, and we will roll our moderate sparse. 2 again. Noon. 12. Evening. 9. Night. 6. Okay, so by now we are near the moat house because we've gone 1, 2, 3. I want to say make one more for midnight. Now we realize we're kind of here. We can kind of see it up on a hill. Oh shit. All right, so we're close to the moat house and we get an encounter. All right, so you may be asking yourself, have we been provided with any random encounters? Well, we have random encounters for the ruins of the moat house proper, and we also know that as we approach, we are very close. As we approach the moat house, and we have Furnock and we have Spoonwar with us as well, we know we're going to get attacked by these giant frogs. So I think it probably makes sense that this is our encounter here. Although this is like a planned encounter. I mean, you are going to get frogged. So let's instead consult let's consult the Dungeon Master's Guide, and let's go ahead and see if we can use some of the basic wandering monster tables that are present here, which are, I believe, in the appendix. May get my paper copy because it's just easier. You know, if you're like 24, you probably don't even know what this is. That's business reply mail. And you can be a winner simply by filling out this form. Maybe that joke already happened. Anyway, I'm going to get my physical DMG here. And we'll go ahead and get our random encounter tables. So technically we're in Marsh, right? So that's not great. This is Appendix C, I believe. This is page 185. It's just easier to use the paper one. God, this thing could just die in a fire. I hate this PDF reader so much. It's the fucking ayahs of PDF readers. We're in Appendix J. We want Appendix C. First appearance of Thaco is this chart, I believe, right? 2 hit armor class 0. Everybody see that? Oh, Thaker, I don't like Thaker in 2nd edition. I'm a 1st edition purist. Well, fuck you. Thaco's right here. 2-hit, armor class 0. E. Gary Gygax. In his magnum opus, The Dungeon Master's Guide, he uses the shorthand for Thaco. So fuck your Matrix, and fuck all of your hoidiness about Thaco. I know that's probably aren't that many people out there, but some people just seem to think Thaco is some 2E thing, and you're weak if you use it and you don't look it up on a Matrix. It's like, come on, man. All right. So oh, look at this satyr. He's ready to roll. He's got goiter or something. He looks a lot. Okay. So we're really in a marsh. But it is the winter, right? So anyway. Okay. So oh, sorry. Yeah, but we aren't Arctic. All right, so that's whoa, YouTube. All right, man, where is just like the? I'm gonna use the paper one. I'm just using this PDF reader. It makes me want to die. All right. Okay. So outdoor is, so that's underwater. And you don't want a random encounter in like level 8 of the dungeon. You're going to get obliterated. There's random encounters in the... so we have subarctic. This is temperate to me. Uninhabited wilderness area. I'm going to call it a marsh. So that's page 184. We'll call it a marsh. Man, this is going to be rough. Okay. You see on the right over there, Marsh? Shoutouts to the great Steve Marsh. Yeah. Okay. And so these are all 1 to 100, I believe. Yeah, they are 1 to 100 tables. All right, so we're just going to, again, they're close enough. Oh, so this took place... It's going to be at night, which is rough. So let's say the fire is dying down. They're about to take first watch. So they still have their spells from that day. So we're on our extra day here now. And I'm going to say that nobody's really changed their... I mean, you could literally get, in case you're wondering... Yeah, I mean, there's some stuff in here that will fucking literally slaughter our party. Okay, well, fuck it. Ooh, let me get the... This is one where, you want to know I'm not fudging this one. All right, so we're Marsh Encounter. Page 184 of the DMG. Let's go. 25. What are we dealing with? Humanoid. Okay, good. Makes sense. It's actually one of the more common ones. Okay, so let's go to our humanoid table. All right. Demi-human. There is a frog subtable. Not even joking. All right, so our humanoid subtable on page 185. Hey, you know all those books that they'll sell you, like that have all those random tables and stuff? You don't need them. You just need this book. Seriously. I mean, I love a lot of those books. I own some of them. I own Sandbox Generator and a few others. But like the ridiculous amount of shit that you can generate from just the DMG is astounding. It is astounding. AI will never be able to generate the DMG. Okay. Marsh, humanoid. Here we go. Ready? 85. Orcs. What else could it be? All right. So we've encountered some orcs. And orcs are interesting for a couple reasons. One, they're porcine. Two, they actually don't appear in this module much at all, as written. So this may be a chance for us to fight, possibly fight some orcs. All right. So we've encountered some orcs. We were outdoors, so we're gonna check for encounter distance. I think we're gonna check for surprise first. I've done this in like a fucking week or two. Okay. So we're only surprised on a 1 because Rangers. So again, we're the blue. We're the good guys. Oops, I haven't rolled yet. I won't do number appearing yet. Let me see. All right. So neither party is surprised. Yeah, I'm gonna say we were stopped for sure. It's night for sure. Light equal to dark night, right? So I'll say we're definitely dark night. So if we do want to end up evading this, it's plus 50%. Encounter distance 1 per die on all 2s, 3s, and 4s. Oh, okay. So we don't have any surprise. If either encounter distance was subtracted. Oh, in addition to shortening the encounter distance, surprise also allows a surprising party. Okay, so in this case, we didn't get any surprise. So normal encounter distance is going to be 6d4 inches. Yeah. So, and again, in Osric, they just switch it to feet, which is nice because I translate everything into feet anyway, so it doesn't really matter. 162. Yeah, 162. All right, so okay, so oops. All right, so great. Totally useless. All right, so again, this thing's the most useful thing ever. 64 fucking sucks. All right, I don't even have 64. Why would you make this 64? So that's going to be 6 to 24 inches. Okay, sure. 4, 6, 10, 11, 15, 16. 16 inches, so 160 feet away. All right, 160 feet away. Let's get an encounter sheet up here. All right. Oh shit, we've got our magic user 1. Fernok is a thief 4. He is neutral as shit. Good. Human. They're both human. Human. Fernok's just wearing leather armor, I think. Pretty sure. Yeah. Yeah, he's just wearing leather. Okay. So let's check out orcs. Pretty dope. Orcs are chaotic evil. Lemino. L-M-N-O. Oh. Alright, so number appearing of orcs are M-N-O, orc. Not a Japanese ogre. Orcs. Look at these orcs. What do they look like to you? Do they look like shirtless Latinos at the border, like 5th edition? No, these are porcine orcs, as Gary intended. Okay, number appearing 30 to 300. Yeah, that's insane. I don't have the time in the day to deal with that kind of thing. So let's just say this is an orc scouting party, and I'll say there are 2d. I'll say there are 2d6 orcs. Because they're one hit die, right? Yeah. So we come upon 8 orcs. This is day 7 now. 8. Midnight. 8 orcs stumble onto our campsite. Neither party is surprised. And the encounter distance was about 160 feet. So I'll say these orcs are out here marauding, and they're cruel. Well, let's just like read about orcs. I mean, orcs are cruel, and they hate living things, right? They hate everything. They hate amoebas, right? They hate red dragons. They hate everything. They just hate living things. But they particularly hate elves, and will always attack them in preference to other creatures. They take slaves for work, food, and entertainment, parentheses, torture, etc. But not elves. Elves they kill immediately. All right, so we've got 8 orcs. We're just going to say that they're armed with a variety of weapons here. Let me get a sheet. Let me get a combat sheet up and running. A handy sheet from our Dungeon Master's adventure log. Get a fresh one. All right. And so we've got orc 1 through 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a lot of fucking orcs. This might be pretty rough. Orc. So it says here that the weaponry of orcs is typically as follows. It's just got like a % breakdown. No. They're not in their lair. They're all 1 hit die. So orc number 1. Orc number 2. Orc number 2. He's a hurt orc. Orc number 3. Orc number 4. I'll say that they're gonna min out just to be a prick at half hit points. Well, apparently I'm gonna roll a fucking 4 every time anyway. That's a particularly bulky orc. I'll say if I roll an 8 on hit points, he's some kind of leader. Fucking prescient. All right. And a 7. Okay, so orc number 7 is their leader. He has 8 hit points. I'll say he's wearing slightly better armor, and he's going to get a +1 to his hit and damage because he's strong. Okay. So yeah, it says 75% likely that they'll just brawl each other unless they have a leader. Say in this case, this guy's the leader. Orcs appear particularly disgusting because of their coloration. They're brown or brownish green with a bluish sheen. So they basically are coming up on the road and they see the party's campfire and they're out marauding and actually they haven't found anything to kill or torture all day long, and so they're particularly interested in killing and torturing the player characters. We can see here a number of creative names for orc tribes: Vile Rune, Bloody Head, Death Moon, Broken Bone, Evil Eye, Leprous Hand, Rotting Eye. We'll say these are the Dripping Blade tribe. Dripping Blade. Okay, and so we see this percentage here. We'll just group these into the leader. We'll say, I'm just going to make this easy. We'll say the first 2 have spears. I'll say most of them are armed with spears. Let's say 4 of them are armed with spears. I will rule that the leader has both the +1 hit and damage, and he also has a 1d4 javelins. 4. He has 4 javelins. And then I'll say the other guys just fight with axes. Axe. He fights with an... I'll say, yeah, he fights with an axe as well, and his javelins. And say this last one fights with like some kind of blunt weapon. I'll say it's a mace. Say he's like some kind of shaman. Say he's the shaman. He's the guy who gets 7 hit points. He may or may not have a spell. All right. So we're 120 feet away. Sorry, 160 feet away. And so we do have an opportunity potentially to evade here. Plus 10%. So I'll say the orcs are the pursuing party. Pursuing party totals fewer than 12, minus 12%. Pursued party fewer than 6. We have 6 on the nose. A 7 now with Fernok, right? Yeah. 7 now with Fernok. That's not good. Yeah, so Fernok makes 7. So yeah. Where's my sheet? Oh. All right, so let's get ready to rumble here. We have we have 8 orcs accosting our party, and that's not good. All right, so but our whole camp is kind of like here, right? And so we were getting ready to go to bed. It's like we just get ran at by these orcs. So we're 160 feet out, which is, if you were wondering about missile weapons. So let's take like our peak fucking missile weapon here, which would probably be Finn's heavy crossbow. And so that has a range of 80, 160 is medium, and then 240 is long. So spears are ass out. That does like 10, 20, 30, right? So they're going to have to close. So we'll say that, movement speed here is 30 feet per round. So we can go to the grid here real quick, but it's going to take a minute for this to even happen because, yeah, so effectively, well, here, we can just draw this out on our encounter sheet. We're starting 160 feet away. And yeah, so, and the orcs are coming in. They want to get up close. All right, they got some spears, some javelins, and so on and so forth. So we're gonna go ahead and roll initiative, and that may indicate that the party could, particularly Finn, could maybe get a shot off, because even Garl's short bow is. Long range is 150. So these guys are not in range, right? It is worth noting though that well, anyway, let's just roll for initiative. All right. So in this case, the party got a 4, and the bad guys got a 1. So the party will get to act on. All right, so let's get this fired up. So 2 things. One, let's remove this right quick. And let's get some orcs. we got 4 with spears. 1, 2, 3, 4 with 5 with spears. 2 with axes and our leader. Oh, 3 with axes. Nice. Wait, 5. Oh yeah, okay. Nice. Orcs. A bunch of orcs. Orcs. Alright. Oh, this got turned. Okay. So we have a bunch of orcs here. These spearmen who aren't necessarily going to throw their, I mean, they're way too far out to throw their spears anyway. We have some spearmen, 5 spearmen. And then we have their leader here. Okay, nice. All right, and then we've got our party, of course. So we got ourselves Fernok as well, which is cool. We got ourselves Garl. We got ourselves Boar. I need 7 PCs here. So we have Finn. We have Harold. We have Garl. We have Balding Pot. We have Boar. We have Fernok. I'll say this is Spoonwar for now. This goofball here with a blue cloak. All right. So the party is kind of off over here. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Yeah. It's going to take a minute for them to close, is my point. All right. And we've got Fernok here. We have Balding Pot here. Now, orcs, it would be common knowledge that orcs can see in the dark. Right? So there's that. So there will be a lit torch here because they have a campfire. But everybody knows that orcs can see in the dark. Obviously, especially Garl, and of course Boar. So they would know that orcs can see in the dark. And so this initial round, the party will... I think it's in the party's best interest, since they won the initiative, to just let the orcs come. So Finn wheels, again, nobody's surprised, right? They were hooting and hollering, running on the road, and the party had this campfire. So I think a couple things are going to happen. One, I will rule that Fernok will attempt to go sort of like hide in some brush. That's what he's going to do. Okay, and so he's a 4th level thief. I actually haven't statted this up, but in first edition AD&D, the thief abilities just like go up. You don't necessarily pick them, so they just go up as the thief fucking goes up. So thief abilities here. There's Fernok. Alright, so he'd be a 4th level thief. He's going to have we'll call it hide in shadows. 31% chance of hiding in shadows. I'll say since it's dark, though, and they're really far away, I'll give him a 20% bonus. I mean, he should be able to jump in a bush somewhere. So 51%. 52. Alright, so he doesn't know it, but, if somebody saw him go into the fucking bush. Balding Pot, same thing. So Balding Pot, actually I do have this calculated, hide in shadows, as he's part of our party. He has a hide in shadows of 10%. Although, no, I'm thinking of basic, where halflings can fucking hide outside. I'm thinking of basic, where they actually can hide outside, which is a shame they can't here in AD&D. I don't believe. Yeah. Yeah, not really. Well, fuck it. Like, he wouldn't know any better. He would definitely. No, he's gonna get his sling ready. All right. So these guys are gonna allow these guys to come 30 forward, bringing them to 120 in round 1. So round 1, party wins initiative. Party. Orcs just the party defers and allows the orcs to move 30 up, which puts them at 120, which puts them at for purposes of Finn, he'll actually get a shot. So he's going to go ahead and shoot with his crossbow. They will now be in medium range. No. Yeah, medium range. So within 160, medium. So -2. 13 is 11. So what's the Thaco on an orc, you might be asking yourself? So the monster manual says that their AC is 6. I'm going to say that's true for all of them, except the leader, who I will claim has AC 5. Okay, so back to our Thaco here. So he rolled... Yeah, so he rolled a 13 -2 for range is 11. Thaco of 20. 20 minus 11 is 9. So he misses. Okay. So let's see here. Is anybody else within range? So if we look at everybody's missile weapons here, we get... Boar has a spear. He's not in range. Shortbow is 100. This would be long range for Garl, which, fuck it. You can roll a 20. So first arrow from Garl, a 1. He'll miss. He'll get another one at the end of the round. It's a rate of fire 2. Did I not say that? Did I not predict that he would roll 20? Okay, so let's figure out who he hit. So we've got 8 orcs. He hit the second orc for Gentleman's 1. So he takes 3. So Finn miss. Garl miss. Hit 1. And then yeah, so the halfling's sling is 50, 100, 200. He also will be at -5. No, a 5 will miss. All right. Spoonwar, I think here definitely would cast shield. Like, no chance he's not casting shield. So he'll cast shield. Let's see, Boar has this big old 2-handed sword. He's gonna hold. Fernok ran off to the bushes. What is our cleric doing? Our cleric had memorized command and a bunch of cure light wounds. Yeah, he's gonna hold. Like Finn is holding them steady here, right? Like saying, wait for them to come. We've got all these. They don't look like they have crossbows. They don't look like they have anything to shoot at us. So they're at 120 now. So now we're gonna go to round. So Spoonwar cast shield, which is only one segment. So he's shielded. So shield is going to go off. Is going to start in round 2. So round 2, round 3, round 4, round 5, round 6, round 7. In case you're wondering what I'm fucking babbling about, I'm using, once again using the sheet of death here to track everything, which is awesome. Round 8, round 9, round 10. Okay. Spoonwar cast shield. Fernok's in the bushes. Finn miss. Fernok bush. Hide. Fernok's going to try to hide unsuccessfully. Garl miss. Garl hit. Balding pot miss. Herald nothing. Boar nothing. Okay. Round 2. See who gets the initiative here. Party once again. At this point, they'll also defer. I see no reason not to. The orcs will advance to 90 feet. Which I think is kind of slow. I guess they could run. Let's say at this point they've picked up the speed and they're gonna run. So, yeah. So 20, 40. So they'll be at 60 feet. So they let them do that. Finn reloads. So round 2. Party. Finn reload. BPG, Balding Pot will take a shot with his sling. So they're now at 60 feet, which is still medium range. So -2. 18. -2 is 16. +3 because he's a halfling. So that's going to be 19. So that'll probably hit. If they go of 20, so that'll hit a AC 1. It's going to hit all these guys. So let's see who he was aiming at. It's going to be Orc number 1. Orc number 1 is going to take 1d4 + 1 from his sling. Gentleman's 2 damage to the first Orc. Alright. So, go ahead and mark some of these Orcs with damage. These are both these spear... sorry, I'm talking to the other side of the room. So these are the spearmen that have got hit here. So one got hit by 1 by Garl. This guy took 2. Alright. And now they're 60 feet away. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So this is pretty accurate right now. They're all here. With Spoonwar kind of in the back. And then Furnock off in the bushes here. Okay, so they're going to crash in. At this rate, they are going to crash into melee next round. So Balding Pot went. Garl will go first shot on this short bow. Gets a 15, not bad. However, let's see what range we're in now. We are, in fact, not quite at short range. It's going to be -2 is going to be 13. However, he gets a +1 to reaction missiles. 14. So 20 minus 14 is a 6. So it's going to hit everybody but the leader. So anything but a 7. Well, it's going to hit the same guy that Balding Pot hit. Decent. Could get a kill here. 5 is a kill. So Balding Pot hits for 2. Garl hit for 5. Ouch. Kill. So that orc that took 2, ugh, he gets killed. Alright. And then again, Garl's ready to fire his 2. He'll get another shot. Finn had to reload this round. Heavy crossbow is quite the turd. Fuck. So -2 is 14, +1 is 15. That'll also hit it'll hit everybody. Oh, Orc 1 is dead. Orc 1 is dead as a doorknob. Dead. Garl killed him. Let's roll again. 2. Orc 2. Nice work. Orc 2, who's also injured. We'll go down to 1 hit point. Garl hit. 2. Okay. Yeah, and they let them run up. So now let's see. This is the danger zone. If the orcs get the initiative here, we won't get any more missile fire. In fact, they do. So the orcs absolutely get the jump by 4 segments. So the orcs are able to close the distance, and remember our rule from last time where if you run up into melee, the other team doesn't get to like melee you back. So, I mean, they could charge too, I guess, but we've attained our melee scrum is essentially what the rules say here. And there's our leader. We're in this scrum here. right? With the exception of sort of everybody. Spoonwar's in the back here. He absolutely didn't want to get involved, and then Fernach's kind of off in the bushes here. However, these two spearmen, this spearman here, he was wise to this shit. Because remember, Fernach failed his roll. So Fernach isn't quite as smart as he thinks he is. All right, so we have some multiple scrums here breaking out. Again, minute rounds. Melee is like a minute round. Here, I'll move everybody up. So now we're in a scrum. All right, and we got what's his name back here with the shield, and the party, although they cannot melee this round, I'll allow them to switch their weapons. Okay. All right. So round 3, orcs. The orcs close to melee. So very good round for them to win initiative. And again, the party can't melee them back. We could cast spells. So I'm going to say most of the party draw their weapons. I guess so I guess Harold would probably cast command here, right? All right, so command is going to be it's a short segment spell, so it's a pretty good one in terms of its speed anyway. What a great word to use as the spell name so that you can never actually find it. Let's just call it fucking ridiculous. All right, command. It was one segment, I'm pretty sure. One segment. Okay, nice. So one segment, one living creature, duration 1 round. By speaking a single word with the force of divine power, the cleric may force a creature to obey an order. And so, it's going to be fall, I think. Creature with intelligence of 13, nope. Hit dice of 6 or plus, nope. So they gain a saving throw against the spell's influence. So in this case, he's going to tell this leader guy here, fall. And there's no saving throw. That's fair, right? Okay. So as he's running up, he says, by the cudgel, heal! And the orc just falls to the ground. Okay, that guy's clearly the orc leader of some kind. So, all right. So Herald, command. Okay. All right. We're on to round 4. Party gets the jump. Nice. So we'll go on segment 1. They'll go on segment 3. Not going to really matter. I'm not casting any spells anyway. Oh, by the way, we are in. Shield. Shield is up for 5 rounds. Okay, so what do we want to do here? I'm going to say, So, man. On the one hand, you've got this prone leader, right? Who, who fell here to the ground. I'm going to rule that the opponent here is so it gives you some combat modifiers here in the Dungeon Master's Adventure Log. So in this case, you could say the opponent is off balance, meaning I get a +2 to hit him. It's saying armor class. Yeah, it doesn't really say like you're prone. I'll say he's on the ground, and that's +2. It's not like he's partially immobile or stunned. He's just on the ground, right? So he's definitely off balance. So we'll go +2. Okay. So Boar is going to just heave forward here and take a swing at this leader. Having, had a couple of days of pent-up anger here. He's going to go ahead and swing at this leader orc, who has a better AC of 5. So Boar, of course, when we made him, we did roll an 18, and we got it. Well, we didn't. We kind of cheesed that whole fucking thing. We gave him exceptional strength by way of being a fighter. So he's got a +1 to hit. He's got +3 damage. Yeah. So, and then so he's going to get an additional +2 because this guy is on the floor. So 12 +1 for strength is 13, 14, 15 for the guy being on the ground. 20 minus 15 is 5. The guy's AC is, in fact, 5. So Boar has hit. You might be wondering, what is Boar using? He is using a two-handed sword, which does Gentleman's 1d10 damage plus his strength bonus of 3. I'm not on camera, but I'm throwing up gang signs. So that's 10 plus 3, that's 13. So Boar just leans forward with this guy on the ground who Harold has just commanded to heal before the power of St. Cuthbert, and he has laid this two-handed sword across the back of this fucker's neck, and the sound of spine just popping as this guy's head is taken clean off for 13 points of damage in one swing. Wow. Impressive. All right, so round 4, Party got the initiative. Boar hit, 13 damage, kill leader. Impressive. Impressive. Shout outs to James Earl Jones, recently passed away, the GOAT. Thulsa Doom. Darth Vader. NSA guy from Sneakers. Just total fucking beast, actor, thespian, king. Just, he will be missed. All right, so Boar hit, kill. Finn will go next. Finn will, he's got his long sword out. He'll get an 8, that'll miss. Balding Pot will switch to his short sword. That'll miss. Garl has switched to his spear. That will probably miss. It hits an 8. Yeah, these guys are AC 6, so that'll miss. So Furdok's not going to get his bonus, but he thinks he is. He's going to hop out of the bush and be like, surprise! 9 and miss. Harold, looking for his first hit in his Major League career. Miss with a 10. Ooh. Everyone else misses. Whole party misses. I just realized, this whole thing is, this entire time we've still been at the Slaughtered Ox listening to this, this tavern music. I guess that's kind of, it is what it is. Let's see here. Fantasy. How about battle? Let's find some battle music. We're going to call this, we're going to go with we'll call this Goblin Ambush. Sounds good. Nice. There's no horses, but still. Okay. So everybody missed. All right, so the orcs are one hit die monsters, and so of course their Thaco is 20. I'll confirm that that's the truth. I'll use my paper DMG here. Nice. All right, so we have our attack matrix for monsters. We are one hit die. Oh, Thaco of 19. My bad. That's right, 19. All right. So this guy is dead as a doorknob. Our leader's dead, and Orc 1 is dead. Okay. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 orcs. Dangerous. Okay. We'll go sort of top to bottom here. We have this injured orc number 2. Yeah, I mean, Fernok jumped out at him. He'll swing at Fernok. So a 13. 19 minus 13 is 6. So we never really determined what Fernok's AC was. We know he's got a really good dex. He's got a really good dex. And he's probably wearing leather armor. So... yeah, so where's Fernok? Sorry. Fernok of Ferd. AC 4, let's go Fernok. Alright. AC of 4. Yeah, so that's leather. Oh, that's leather in his dex bonus. Very nice. And he has 18 hit points. Very nice. And he's really rolling with his... he's probably going to roll with his magic dagger here most of the time. Okay, so back to that roll. So 19 minus 13 is 6. It'll miss Fernok's AC of 4. Ha-ha! He jumps out of the way. All right, the next orc up the line here is going to take a swing at Garl. 2 will miss. Next one up the line will take a swing at Finn. 19 minus 15 is 4. That's going to hit Finn's AC of 6, which is studded leather. That guy is wielding a spear. Oh, God. 5 points of damage. Okay. Orc, miss. Really, all that matters for the narrative is going to be these hits, right? So orc miss Fernok, orc miss Garl, orc hit 5 Finn. Ow, ow, ow. 1, 2, 3. Fourth orc spearman. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fourth orc spearman with his 4 hit points will attack Balding Pot. Miss. We've got this guy with an axe over here. This 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Yeah, okay. Whatever. This guy with the axe here. All that matters is it's the fifth guy. He'll go ahead and swing at oh, okay. Yeah, I'll make that other guy spearman. Doesn't really matter. I said mace, spear. Sorry, that's why I was confused. Okay. Oh my God! All right, 1, 2, 3. All right, 1, 2, 3. Missed Fernok. Missed all these guys except Finn. Okay, so the one of the guys with the axe here is going to go ahead and swing at Boar. 11 will miss. Boar's pretty stout. He's got plate mail. And then last but not least, the other guy with the axe is going to swing at Harold, who's got a chain shirt. Yeah, chain mail. 8 will miss Harold. Okay. Orc, miss. Boar, orc, miss. Harold. Not bad. Yeah, that's everybody. So, yeah, Finn got, hit. All right, not good. Orcs get the jump. All right, they're going to go. We're not casting any spells, so the segments don't necessarily matter here. Oof. All right, so we'll start from the top. The one orc will swing on Fernok, the one that's slightly injured. 3 will miss. The next orc over will swing on Garl. 17's going to hit. He's a spearman. Not good. So round 5. Orcs. Miss Fernok. Hit Garl for freaking 4. Ow. The next one down the line will swing on Finn. Also hit for 4. Ow. Finn is down to 7 hit points. Fucking hit Finn, 4. Brutal. 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. The next one down the line will swing at Balding Pot, miss with a 2. Guy with an axe will swing at Boar. 13. So 19 minus 13 is 6. That'll miss his AC of 3. And the last one will swing at the Cleric. That actually might hit. 19 minus 15 is 4. Herald has an AC of 4. So that'll hit. For 6 damage. He's got a hand axe. Whoosh. 3 damage. Ouch. So hit Herald for 3. Brutal. All right. At this point, I'm going to rule that Furnock is going to try to get around the back of this guy and try to slip a dagger in his back. So, again, it's a 1-minute round. So let's make a dex check for him to get around this guy's back. He does. All right, so in this scrum, he's moving around. The guy took a swing at him and missed. So he's going to slide behind him and try to backstab him. So 11 plus 4 is 15. Attack matrix for 4th level thief, I think, actually might have gone up. What's the take of a 4th level thief? No, literally, fuck you. It's still 20. All right, 4. All right, so they go of 20, but he's backstabbing, so it's 5. So it'll hit, and he's using his magic dagger. So he and Garl are kind of playing off each other here pretty smartly. So 3, but we'll double the damage before the magic enchantment. Either way, it's enough. So 6 is, because this guy was injured, so he kills him. All right, Furnock, backstab for 7, kill. Okay, so Garl will turn his attention to this other guy here, swing in with his spear. Nope. Finn with his longsword. Nope. Balding Pot with his short sword. Nat 20 on one of these spearmen. That'll hit. Nice for 4, killing him. Balding Pot, hit. 4, kill. Nice work. Boar will level his 2-handed sword at one of these mooks. So these are the guys with 6 and 7 hit points. So Furnock killed this guy. Other guy's dead. We got 4 orcs standing, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. Yikes. This is brutal. Fucking orc tribe. The dripping blade. Props to dripping blade. All right, Boar. 9 will miss. Herald. Okay, yo. I swear to God, he rolled a 20. I'm not. I wouldn't. You can kind of see it on the camera. This guy needs a break. He hasn't hit anything, so I'm gonna rule that he even though I missed the fucking dice tray, he hit. All right, so he's got his mace. What does Herald actually have? It's like a footman's mace. Forget. Oh, footman's mace. Yeah, 1d6 plus 1. All right, cool. 1d6 plus 1. It's against this last guy. He's got 7 hit points. So 4. Okay. Herald finally hits for 4 damage. Interesting. All right. So what does Spoonwar want to do here? Spoonwar doesn't want anything to do with this. Okay. And in fact, he's got one more round of shield. There's a nice line in front of them. I don't think there's any real way that these orcs could necessarily get through this pretty solid line of meat to get back to this idiot that they don't even care about anyway. So, yeah. Okay, so round 6. Nice. This is a pretty good time to get initiative. Party will go. Again, no spells. So Furnock and Garl are playing this game now to try to, distract these orcs. And because we got numbers, I'm going to rule that Balding Pot is going to try to, tumble behind this orc that's fighting with Finn. No, right? Or is that his actual fucking dex? Woo! Below it, 14. So 14 is below 15. So he'll kind of like tumble back, copying Fernok. Our thieves are trying to work with each other in order to get a flank and backstab these guys. He'll try to stab the one that's in front of Finn. 12 plus 4 is 16. That'll hit. Backstab for double damage. So 4 damage on a spear fighter. Those guys only have 4. All right, so we're round 6. Whew, round 6, party. BPG. Hit. Backstab. 4. Kill. Nice work. Alright, Finn will swing his sword. 11 will miss. Even with his bonus. Garl will... I'll say Garl's the one not doing the backstab here. He's just trying to swing with his spear. He'll miss with a 2. Fernok, sneaking up behind this orc, will miss with an 8. Boar on this other orc with a 3. And Harold with an 8 will all miss. Pretty terrible. Okay, that's not good for us. Wow. How the fuck do you miss? 1, 2, 3. You miss 5 times. Okay, so this orc's been backstabbed. He's keen to this game. He's gonna fucking turn around and get this guy who's trying to stab him in the back. Hits. He's got a spear on Fernok for just 1. All right. That guy on Boar. Fucking shit. 20. Where's Boar at? Okay, so that's a hand axe. 1. Got super lucky there. All right, last one on Harold. 10 will miss. So, orc hit 1. Fernok. Orc hit 1. Boar. And then a miss. All right. Round 7. Oof, orcs get it. Alright, this orc probably going to try to take out Fernok. He's fucking gutted a couple of his friends. Misses with a 3. Orc number 1 on Boar. Miss. On Harold. 14. Could hit. 19 minus 14 is 5. And Harold's AC is 4. No, it holds. His fucking shield. Throws his shield up and catches the edge of the axe. Alright, Harold swings back at him. 10 will miss. Boar on his orc. 16 will hit. 1d10 plus 3. Fuck you. Alright, that guy had 6 hit points and he is now dead. Alright, so round 7. The party lost initiative again. So it's orcs. Missed. All the orcs missed. And then Boar hit 11 damage. Kill. This guy gets fucking destroyed. Alright. Yeah. So Finn will slide over here and try to take this guy out with his longsword. 19 will hit. For 1d8 plus 1. 8. Dead. Nice. Comes in. The guy is so obsessed with killing Fernok that he just comes up behind him and drives his sword up through his abdomen, guts him. All right. So we got 180 left. Yeah. I mean, I'll say this guy's fucked. Balding Pot's gonna sneak up behind him for a backstab. 22. And this guy actually has. Oh, he got 3 hit points left. Ooh, double damage. 5 is 10. Ah! Alright, so round 7, we got Boar hit kill, Finn hit kill. Balding Pot, Golden Leaf, backstab, hit, kill. Oh my god. What a beating. Alright. So combat is over, but kind of costly here. All right, so let's quickly... Oof, this one's gone long as shit. Let's go ahead and let's get this done, and then we'll wrap up for the evening. We got a nice piece of absolutely irrelevant wandering monster content to add to our audio drama. All right, so we've got our... let's switch here. And let's switch our music to something something interesting. We're back in a swamp, aren't we? Yeah. Yeah, we'll be in Swamplandia here. Okay. Alright. So, real quick, we're going to go to our monster manual. We will check our appendix. Oh, first we need to see what the orcs have. A Lemeno orc. Orc ogre. Japanese ogre mage. Orcs have treasure type... L. L. C. Let's see. They have L. C. They're not individuals. Oh, each one might have L, and then C, it's called C, O, or Q. And then if we were in the lair, they would ask. Well, we're definitely not in the lair. I'll say their weapons are pretty mediocre. Maybe those javelins are okay. I don't know. All right. Anyway. All right. So L will be, of course, some Electrum. Brutal. Fucking Electrum. All right. So we had 8 of these guys. So they each had 5 Electrum. All right, so 5 times 8 Electrum pieces. I hate Electrum so much, but I already established that the Electrum eel is a bar, so we have to stay in universe and assume Electrum exists. Okay, and then that's of course no magic. Okay, so why would they have C? C seems really rich for a band of roving orcs. O. Yeah, sure, they can have O. Wait, what the fuck's going on here? 1 to 6 in what? Wait. How does this work again? Oh, the number appearing. Okay, so yeah, okay, I got it. Wait, is that true? 83. Man, you know, I feel like I figured out how to do this, and then no, I forgot. All right, so, well, yeah, I know the treasure types here. I just didn't know. What is the first column? Am I always getting that? Yeah, am I always getting that amount? All the stuff to the left? I forget. No, I need to double check. Okay. Treasure. Treasure 309. I think actually I remember screwing around with this last time and it was just useless. Yeah, so wandering monsters, yeah, so it's DM fiat here, so you know, I don't necessarily have to give any of this stuff. Okay, and then you have all these, you know, whatever, the tables. So this one actually broke it down here. I think, you know, so if you look at orc in here, they just go ahead and shortcut the they went ahead and shortcutted the stuff. Oh, this sucked. This was like, hey, let's split the monsters up by some other fucking random thing other than the alphabet. Hold on. Yeah. Demi-humans, humanoids. So orc is on page 200. I'm not sure I agree with that, but it's all good. Page 200. All right. Yeah, so this is the table. Yeah, okay. All right, that's right. We went through this before. Huge entertainment value here. All right. Yeah, so individual is this. Full stop. Layer is blah. All right. So I'll say these guys have been out raiding. I'll say there's a 15% chance they have something else interesting. Where is it? Nope. All right. So that's it for treasure. 5 times 8 electrum. It's really nothing. Yeah, a handful of javelins and yeah, that's about it. So I mean, this is what it is. You're gonna have random encounters, but just like a bunch of random orcs from the Dripping Blade tribe, not really adding to the party's core mission. They'll get a little XP from this for sure. But this may cause them to use up resources here and possibly have to delay. So I think the first order of business post combat would be pretty much, without a doubt, would be for Harold to use a couple of cure light wounds. So like he is unlikely to not recognize the injuries that his party has sustained. So he has 2 cure light wounds out of the gate that he memorized. So let's do a quick post. Hey, it's only 2 hours and 46 minutes. No one on Earth is still watching this after this fucking long. So let's just, to my dancing with myself here. Finn's at 7 out of 16. Garl 6 out of 10. Balding Pot 6 out of 6. Harold 6 out of 9. Boar 9 out of 10. Furnock got nicked in the shoulder here. And old Spoonwar, Spoonwar hid in the back, blew his shield spell, and lived to write about it. He is how many hit points does he have? It's 4. He has no constitution bonus. All right, so he's got a gentleman's 4 hit points. All right, boy. All right, 4. And he has an AC of stone nothing. 10. Yeah, great. Robes. Okay, so let's get back on our, at least on our, yep. Okay, so I think just in order of priority, I think you'd like, like, again, not to meta too much, but like the players around the table would probably try to heal Finn here. So 1d8. Oh my god. 1d8 again on Finn. 12. So his wounds are pretty bad. All right, he used command. So that's it. All right, so and that was at midnight, so it didn't interrupt the party's sleep necessarily. But they are going to have to make one more wandering monster roll, what's called pre-dawn, meaning did their night actually go well? So if they get a 1 on a 12 here, then the next session's going to start with whatever clusterfuck happens. 2. All right, so they do manage to sleep the rest of the night. He wakes up, prays to St. Cuthbert, and all right, we'll stop there. Next morning, he'll have some fresh curing to do. Okay, cool. All right, so yeah, look for this audio drama to come out. I'll probably put it up on Podbean and a couple other places once I get the audio the way I like it. Got a lot of material now. And, try to get back to doing this once a week. And that way we can get way out ahead of the audio drama. And these combats take a while, too. And so, as we start to get into other parts of this module, like a fucking evil moat house, then we, those combats could take quite a bit. So we will, we will figure that out. If you're still listening, there's no way There's no way you're still listening. There is no chance. But if you are, give it a subscribe, give it a like, and maybe one other person on Earth will watch. Until next time, stay Orthian. All right.